Hi everybody, the podcast that you're about to watch is with actor Paul Danan, who graciously accepted our request for him to come on and talk about his life, some of the issues that he's faced, and the excellent work that he's now doing with the Morning After Theatre Club that he has set up. Sorry, the Morning After Theatre Company that he has set up, which is using drama and the arts as a tool to help people with various issues, mental health issues. He's working with young offenders, he's working with different members of the community, and, you know, really trying to include people. I just want to say a personal thank you for coming on and being so open and honest. Real top lad. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you would consider subscribing, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, make a comment, and thank you for watching. And that's it. We are recording. So, first of all, from the outside looking in podcast, Paul Danan, thank you very, very much for coming on.
Thank you for asking me.
No. It's us.
Pleasure,
thank you. We sort of reached out to you on Twitter. I think you saw the sort of the Twitter account and the sort of podcast, the subjects that we cover on the podcast, etc. I spoke to you. You've come on, and here we are doing a podcast with yourself. About your life, and mainly not just your career, but also the struggles that you've had and how you manage that and the things that you've got going on now. So, yeah, we just get straight into it with what I was just saying to you off camera there.
Yeah, sure.
And it ties in with the title of the podcast, From the Outside Looking In, because from the outside looking in, successful actor, presenter, you know, been all over the world with your shows, showbiz lifestyle. I know, because I'm in recovery myself, that what you see face on often isn't what's actually happening in reality. So I know that because you've had your issues with drugs and alcohol and mental health, that actually there's probably a lot of times where, even though it looks like you're having a great time and living a great life, you've not been having a great time or living a great life.
I think that goes for everyone in the world. I think we all show, most people on social media show the good shit and not the bad. So they, you know, but everyone struggles with whatever they struggle with, whether they know they're addicts, whether they believe they have that. I think everyone's pretty much addicted to something. But I do believe that's what we want to show is the good stuff. And obviously, you know, it's difficult to sometimes show the vulnerable and the dark stuff. And over the years, you know, in the beginning found that extremely hard, but in the last, you know, I'd say 3, 4, maybe even 5 years since doing my podcast, I've realised that opening up and actually being honest about what really is going on is the best thing to do, because not many people are doing that, and so many people can relate. And that's the way you can help people, is by, you know, I suppose if you've got some sort of profile, whatever, if they see you doing it and being honest, then it gives them permission to open up.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, Paul, just without any profile.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You know,
we
say that. I mean, it's just a small profile, isn't it? I've come out of the forces, and with my past, because before I joined the forces, I had a long, colourful history, and sort of all of a sudden people are paying attention. So it's like, well, yeah, let's actually talk about the stuff. That,
absolutely. Us. You know, and I don't. You know, I don't show. I don't know if you like on my Instagram. When I'm feeling down, I'll tell people. When I'm struggling, I will say I'll do videos. I'll kind of talk about it on my podcast. The more I do that, it seems the more people have more fond. You know, the more people like me.
Yeah. We were saying with our podcast, because I mean, look, we jokingly describe them as critically acclaimed, but, you know, not very many people watch them at the moment. But in saying that, you know, we've had one where we got like 60 views, but about 15 people inbox me. Do you know what I mean? Out of those 60 people saying thank you. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, well, actually, does it matter how many people are watching?
No,
I know it's a cliche, but, you know, even if we are helping, you know, 5 or 6 people,
one person.
Yeah, you know, it makes a big difference.
We did one that had 3,000 views, and the only comment we got was to the person we were interviewing was, don't cut your dreadlocks off.
Don't cut your dreads off.
Yeah.
So which is better? you know.
But sometimes people, you might, out of those 3,000, you might have helped a lot of them. They just find it hard to say anything.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the thing. We're all so worried about, oh, why isn't there that many comments or likes or whatever? But you don't know who you've reached, and that's on there now for good. And you know, in a year's time, it might reach someone. Like, that's the way I see things. Like, you know, mine was doing amazing last year, #1 in the iTunes charts, and then this year it hasn't been like that. But I'm not bothered anymore. I was so bothered back then, like, oh my god, what number is it? What number is it? But actually, that's just my addict head wanting more and wanting affirmation and wanting to see the numbers, and I've realised that actually it's all bullshit, man.
I've got that addict
because
head as
we're
well.
doing it for us as well. Like we
you know what?
This helps me doing this. That's why I said yes.
I was just about to say. Then it sounds like it's almost therapeutic to you to do that, and that's sort of the way that I know I feel about. I do very few, to be honest, Paul. I've come on this one just because I've been on a few.
I said you could.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, good point. That's why you came on.
He was like,
I only came on because
I was tempted to email you, Paul, and say, just tell him no.
What are you doing?
Tell him no.
It's all about the big dog, isn't it, Ricky? It's all about the big dog. He calls himself the big dog and barks.
Fucking egos, man.
I'm only joking. Right. Anyway, back to this. What we were just saying there as well is you found fame like young, well, not just young, do you know what I mean, sort of the age where, you know, especially lads, well, not just lads, the age of young British people are out partying anyway, you know, late teens, early 20s. That's when you found your fame and fortune, if you like. And I know Hollyoaks back then was, you know, it was mainstream, you know, that was
huge.
Yeah, it was huge. So what was that like? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, when I was younger, I mean, I did a bit of EastEnders, and I really loved being on set, and I kind of knew that I had to do my GCSEs, and then, you know, I wanted to go to drama school, and it was hard to get in, but I got in. They saw something in me. It was very expensive. But my dad worked hard and sent me there, my brother uni, and all at the same time. But you get told 90% of actors are out of work, and it's like, why are you doing that career? But I knew I had the passion for it and the drive. And, you know, back then my confidence was high, you know, and it wasn't in an arrogant way. It was just I believed in myself. And after finishing drama school, I got an agent that basically within a few months got me this massive audition for Hollyoaks for this new family. And I knew 90210 Beverly Hills 90210, and I saw that we were doing a UK version kind of thing, and that was Hollyoaks, and it just went massive on the screens, and within a year it was huge. And getting this audition was like, wow. This is a bit of me, and out of a lot of people, it whittled down to the final few, and it was amazing getting that phone call saying, "Move up to Liverpool, you got the job, you're now in a soap opera." And to do that for 4 years, you know, starting at 19, and the minute you get on set, you just see all these people that you think are going to be up their own arses, but actually are really cool, and it was just like uni, but with money. And with beautiful girls, and then someone passes you an 8 for cocaine and says welcome. It's like, okay, but
So
I don't really do this shit, but I'll give it a go.
Yeah. Did you move up on your own then when you moved up to Liverpool? Did your family move with you, or was that it? You just went?
No, I moved on my own.
Yeah. So I suppose.
And
it was a big move.
Centre of Liverpool, sorry.
We filmed in off Abbey Road. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Liverpool's a pretty
Mercy TV
party town anyway, Liverpool, isn't it? So
yeah, it was a uni town. It was, but you know what? Like when we went out at night, I mean, we were working so hard. Like I was so career driven that, to be honest, it was all about the work. Well, you're just working the whole time. Like you know, a soap is like the closest thing you'll come to a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
But it starts at 7 a.m. and you don't finish till late, and you do night shoots, weekend shoots. So you don't really get a chance to party. If you get a day off, and a few others have got a day off the next day, you're all together and you're just up all night, and that's where, you know, the partying. But you feel like you deserve it because you work so hard. So in a way, you're saving all this money, like footballers' money, and you know, you're so young, and no one tells you how to handle it, how to manage it. But you know, you learn pretty quickly on your feet of what you can and can't handle. But it is tough, and it takes its toll, and it did.
I think it's really important. I did a podcast the other day with he's actually, because I'm a veteran, so he's a veteran as well, and it was talking about his addiction. But somebody messaged us afterwards because they were saying that they'd never heard two people just actually say that when we first started taking drugs and when it was a party, and there's no point in pretending that it wasn't fun. Do you know what I mean? And when
why would you do it?
This is what I was saying. Why would you go back? You know, and you know, for a brief, I say a brief period, for a long time in my sort of late teens up to my mid-20s, it was what I would class as fun. But then it spirals out of control. What I will say is, with myself, when I look back, I know that even though I was having fun, my relationship with drugs and alcohol was different from most people's relationships with drugs and alcohol. Do you know what I mean? I was very much. It was always to the extreme. I would always drink myself plastered. I would always drug myself to the point where I thought, I've got to stop or I'm going to die. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if it was the same with you or whether I spoke to a couple of people. It wasn't like that. It just sort of crept up. But
no, it wasn't. It wasn't like that for me. In the beginning, I was kind of like just a bit of a light. Well, I didn't really need a lot.
Right.
And I just, I loved it. I enjoyed it. It was social. It was fun. But, you know, they talk about the invisible line, and after a while you cross it and there is no going back. And that invisible line is basically, you don't have a choice when to stop because it's now overtaking me. And it's now deciding, now it's the master rather than me being in control. It started to control me. And that's when it starts to get dangerous. And then you notice that you're doing it more not so socially. And that's when it becomes problematic, and then you're doing it on feelings, or oh, this was shit, or that was great, or this was, you know, any excuse. And I think that's the progression of the illness. It's a progressive illness. It centers in the mind, and I think it can become an obsession. And once you put it in, you know, you that's it. You start off that craving that you can't stop. And I think. You know, but in the beginning it wasn't like that. So it was a bit of a shocker that it kind of did that, but it did it really sneakily and really gradually. So yeah, but I was not like that when I was younger and doing it. I just kind of was doing, you know, I could take it or leave it, save it, whatever. But that soon didn't happen anymore.
Yeah, no, that's like, because obviously my issue's been with alcohol. And yeah, I look back, actually, when I was growing up, I was a stoner. You know, and a lot of my friends later on in life have said that they were really surprised that I ended up with such bad alcohol problems, because that wasn't me growing up. And it's the same thing with you. It just snuck up on me. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, I used to like a drink, then I was a heavy drinker. Then all of a sudden I was thinking about drink. Do you know what I mean? You know, I was thinking about don't drink. Please don't drink today, kind of thing. And then you drink. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And
right, using it against your will.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And you know,
don't think
drink
it's any one specific thing, is it? It's like myself, like a friend of mine years and years ago used to call me a creature of excess. Like, I'm not drinking at the moment, but anything I do, like, I used to like laugh about it and go, I'm fucking good at this. You know what I mean? Like, the reality is, it's just, I literally haven't got an off button. So like at the moment I'm not drinking, but I'm sort of saying, well, I'm okay with it. You know, like I don't mind not drinking, but I had one day off a few months ago, and just put like me and Ricky went down to be on Bob Mills's show. I had 2 days off, one before Christmas and then one after Christmas. And every time I do it, I just go stupid. I got lost in London where Ricky was there not drinking, and I said, I'll just have one pint. And then the next thing I know, it's like I'm on the right train going in the wrong frigging direction towards Brighton or something.
Yeah,
it's a disease of more. Like, what, it doesn't matter what the substance is for me. Like, I was a stoner too, but I didn't, I wasn't really a drinker. I never have been. But whatever I could get my hands on, I'd have it. If it changed the way I felt, that's what it was about. It's about how I felt. So if, food's going to do that, exercise, tennis, shopping, women, drugs, it don't matter. Like, it all takes me to the same place, which is me feeling shit about myself even worse than I did in the beginning. So do you think there's something internally not quite right with me?
So I can relate to that exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, completely. But I didn't know it, and I didn't actually know that until my business went tits up a few years ago.
Right.
When it all came to a head. So that was like, I had a massive, I had a breakdown, if you want to call it that. And I thought, and I remember thinking, I want to kill myself here. Fuck this. And as soon as I thought that, I've got enough brains to think, actually, I don't, but I fucking need some help now. Like,
and that's a breakthrough. A breakdown becomes a breakthrough.
Yeah.
If you're strong, if you allow yourself to go, no, sometimes it has to get painful enough like that to do something about it.
Yeah. At what point did that happen to yourself? I know we're sort of jumping probably forward a lot here.
I know, it's fine. Listen, man, it's organic. That's the way things should go when we do things like this, when we talk. For me, it was when, I came back from rehab and my partner was gone, my little boy was gone. I was all on my own, and, I realised that everyone had left. Everyone, like, no one wanted to really know, and I thought I could just, as you say, have one, because I was in pain. I needed to soothe my pain.
Yeah.
And I just spent fucking 20 grand on a rehab, and what a fucking waste, but it wasn't a waste because I learned so much, and I look at that now. But they just didn't want to be, they couldn't handle it anymore. And then, and then that still was, that was years ago. So I still wasn't enough. Like, the thing is, I think it just gets to a point where it's like, you think to yourself, if I carry on, I'm going to die, or I'm going to lose my brain. I'm not going to be the same person anymore. I'm not going to be able to come back from this. And I think that's scary when you know that your brain isn't really firing like it usually is. And it's becoming a bit delusional, and that's scary, man. To lose your mind is a very scary place.
That's what sent me under, Paul. Like, was I actually thought I am literally going mad here, because I'd never had that sort of thing. I'd always just done what I wanted to do, got on with it, completely functioning with whatever I was doing. Like, I've always had good jobs or all right jobs. I had a business. All that suddenly just disappeared because I sold catering equipment and COVID happened. So that was the end of that. You know what I mean? Like, and suddenly everything crashes down, and it's probably, in all honesty, the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Exactly.
Because it didn't fucking seem it at the time though. Like,
Do you know? I don't think I had like any kind of sort of breakdown per se.
Epiphany.
But I didn't. I remember for a few years as well, like, just all of a sudden being terrified at the fact that I'd become an alcoholic. Do you know what I mean? All of a sudden I was like, shit, this isn't what I wanted to be when I grew up. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is not where I wanted to be in life. I did not want to be. So, because like we were just talking there, my thoughts, that I said I didn't have a breakdown, but I was definitely gripped in the madness of it all, because from the moment I woke up, my whole thoughts, my brain was consumed by fucking alcohol. Do you know what I mean? It was ruling my world. Even if it was just saying, don't drink today, don't drink today, don't drink today.
Yeah, but why? But did you ever look at why it was consumed?
Well, yeah. So do you know what I mean?
What's behind that?
Yeah, I had a pretty shitty fucking upbringing and that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I just think that became my crutch of.
I think you might as well talk about it, Ricky.
I don't know. You probably don't know much, and this is why it's sort of the force. Me being in the forces became a big deal, because I was homeless for years from, before I was 16, I was homeless, and I was homeless, until I was 25 on and off. So it was a long, long time. And,
Wow.
When I say homeless, I mean, there were points in my life where I was homeless and not just sofa surfing. I was living on the streets. I was selling the Big Issue. I was begging at points. I ended up smoking heroin and things. And just, I think even though I came out of that in my mid-20s, I got so used to dulling the pain of just existing. Do you know what I mean? Like the pain of existence, where I would look at everybody. Hence the title of this. I know I keep saying it, but the title of the podcast, The Outside Looking In.
You're quite proud of this title, aren't you?
I am. Do you know what I thought of it?
He fucking made it up.
That's the ego, isn't it? No, but do you know what I mean?
It's like Einstein here or something.
The big dog.
I've come out with the new Hoover.
Wait until I put the end credits on, Paul. Wait until you see what I made on my phone.
He'll be fucking long gone by then.
Yeah, but no, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that for me, I was dulling the pain of existence because I was so pissed off at not being part of society. Do you know what I mean? And then that creeps in, and then it just becomes a habit.
It sounds like, sorry to interrupt, like you were pissed off with that you were, with your family.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And that's what it comes down to, isn't it? The loved ones, the ones that are meant to nurture us and keep us and be with us, suddenly to not be around and allow. I'm not saying I don't know your story, but I think it's not society. It's where's my family in this? Why aren't they there for me?
I mean, a full story. I'd ended up in the northeast of England, and I'm from Slough, and then basically I got moved to a new town by my single mum, who then threw me out the house. And there's that element. For a long time, I was like, you fucking wankers. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've absolutely ruined my life here. And then the thing for me, though, is by the time I stopped drinking, it didn't matter why I was drinking. Do you know what I mean? I got to a stage where I was like, it doesn't matter why I'm an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic. I've got to do something about it now. So I'm 13 and a half months sober now. So I'm in a good place. Thank you. What I was going to ask again, because you have to sneak around anyway, which sort of feeds the cycle of, deviancy and the fact that you're lying to everybody. Is it worse? I mean, I should imagine it is worse when you're in the public eye like yourself. The sneakiness has to be sneakier.
I mean, like it's a million times worse in the way of like, but it's. Look, when you're in the public eye, say like the Love Island days, and you're that famous, like this is the first time that show had come out. I'd come home from Fiji filming it, and I was more known from that 6 weeks than 4 years on a soap opera of hard fucking graft. And suddenly I've been sitting on an island being a bit of a dick, and I come back and I'm like suddenly stratosphere fame. I mean, like ridiculous. The first thing I wanted to do was get away from it. I hated it. So I then go and lock myself indoors, get a load of gear in, and then realise, shit, they're outside my house. So it's crippling. It's absolutely, and then they're writing whatever they're writing. Then you're getting calls from your agents saying, "Right, we're filming this tomorrow," and you're thinking, "I can't face anyone."
Yeah,
So it's not even about sneaking. It's just pure, overwhelming devastation. But at the same time, that's what I signed up for. So
I remember that time because I loved the streets, and obviously. What's his name? I always forget his name.
Skinner.
Was it Leo? Was Leo?
Oh, Leo. That was the second Love Island. That wasn't. I didn't really have a fame like I did on the first one the year before. Right. But go on.
I'd seen both of them, but I remember like there was Leo on when Callum Best was on.
Callum was on both of them as well.
Yeah. So I remember watching them, and I watched.
There's a funny sound that your mic's gone a bit.
Now seems like the perfect time to put this video in here, asking you if you would consider subscribing by simply clicking the subscribe button. If you could give us a like, that would be really cool of you. You could copy the link and share it to your social media. That would be even cooler of you. We're going to have all the links in the descriptions for the stuff that Paul's doing, including his Just Giving page. If you could make a donation to that would be great. It means that he gets to keep doing the excellent work that he's doing through his company. And yeah, hope you're enjoying everything. Thank you.
Yeah. So you were talking about Leo from the streets.
Yeah. So basically, that's what I sort of remember. I know you were on 2 series, and I remember watching them, and I remember watching and thinking, as I saw it unfold, that the way that it unfolded for me, and tell us if I'm wrong, like it was just my perception, and obviously we're going a long way back here as well, but my perception is that you were a bit like me when I get drunk, whereas like in normal life, I'm quite like, I'm a nice, not saying that you're not nice, but like when you're drunk or anything, but I'm a nice guy, and I don't take things really the wrong way. Like me and Ricky will literally rinse each other, and I would never take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But give us a drink.
Yeah.
And once I hit not 1, but like 10.
Yeah.
And I can just suddenly I become really defensive, and I felt like my perception of what was happening to you there was that people were like poking at you as if like it was like, let's have a little fucking dig here.
Yeah.
And that in the end, all them little digs led up to you having a massive fucking rag, as we say in Newcastle. And then it all got turned round.
What they say in Newcastle?
Raji. Yeah, go Raji.
Yeah. And it just I don't know whether that's a true perception, but I'm like that. When I get to a certain point of drinking, I will turn into I get angry if people give me any grief, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like Ricky was saying, like I was always a stoner. I was always, and I was then. And to be honest, I wasn't, you know. But as I said earlier, give me whatever there is, I'll have it. If there's nothing else, and you couldn't exactly smoke weed on there. So they were giving us drink and stuff, and after 1 or 2 I was fine. 3 I got a bit and then as things were going on through the show I was getting a bit, because you got to understand it's like Big Brother. You don't know who likes you don't know who wants you there. You think that they're your mates, but you don't really know them. And if you're chirping a girl, you know, a woman that maybe they like, it got all a bit, you know. And I was paranoid anyway from the drugs, coming off God knows what when I was on there. And, you know, you don't see the cameras, they're all hidden, but they're capturing everything. Yeah. And so you saw more than what I saw, and the camera never lies. And when you see that, and when you feel that, like I'm very intuitive, and I could tell that people were talking, and I didn't really know. And then, that 4th drink, bam, you know, and it's the build-up of resentments. And Rick, you know that about resentments. They're the number one offender, man. Like when it's the ants, not the elephants. It's the little things. They just add up, and then it blows. And it's like, right, what, you know, and I just kind of had enough. And on the first one, the security, because there was no one on that island, but the security had to come from another island onto the island and drag me off there. And
you went off like you did.
Yeah, I went off like a rocket. Like I was going like a bullet. I didn't care. And it's like Fran, he's like 6'5", built like a brick shit house kind of Irish bloke. He would have killed me. But I didn't care.
You've got to set a bollocks that kid like.
No, but I know what you mean. You get to the
rage of alcohol. Alcohol is very aggressive when it wants to be.
Yeah. I fucking hate alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Like, I literally. I was saying this.
Doesn't suit me. I was not a drinker, and I couldn't handle my drink.
No, if you know what, if alcohol, I've said this a couple of times. If alcohol wasn't around, right, and it got invented tomorrow, there's no way they'd make it legal.
That'd be a class A drug.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Fucking, this is insanity. You can't have all these people running around on this drug. It's fucking crazy."
Yeah, it's true.
What's that like when you come back from Celebrity Love Island and you've become so famous for certain, do you know what I mean? And the behavior that you probably regret, do you know what I mean? And drunken behavior, all of us, it's in so much of the public eye that you can't even fucking pull the covers over your head.
Yeah, but everyone's been there, man. That's the thing. I don't regret any of it, because people can relate to that. Like you, like what you're saying, like at the end of the day, that I wasn't well at the time, but I didn't know that. I was suffering with a really severe disease that I had no idea about, or that it was an illness, or that I was needing help at the time. I was young. I was 25, and I was just there to have a good time. I didn't know that I was going to be feeling so, so vulnerable, so damaged, so hurt. And
the paranoia must have been crippling,
Yeah, well, you couldn't go. There was nowhere to go.
something.
You were stuck on an island, so you couldn't go off and chat to your mum. You had no phone, So it was tough. And even then, the producers didn't know how to handle people with mental health or with addiction issues. I think they have learned a lot since then. I think a lot of people have learned a lot since then, and more needs to be done afterwards and before on having, people that suffer with this illness or even any types of anxiety or mental health before they go on their show. It's not saying don't put them on there, but they need support and guidance afterwards, during and before.
Yeah. Do you think that producers have actively gone out and especially in the past, maybe not as much
now, type of people, yeah.
Yeah, I do. Because it used to be like shooting fish in a barrel, I think. You'd be watching
great
it
TV.
Thinking, and I watched all of it as well, so I can't exactly go, it's completely out of order, because I was the dickhead watching it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's exploitation, isn't it?
Yeah. But obviously, I don't watch anything like that now.
But we have to own our part, and the part that I own is that I said yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I said yes to doing it. So, there's not any blame to make. It's about just how can we help the next man in going on something like that and support them in the right way, so we don't get another Mike Pathetis or sorry, I pronounced his surname wrong, but or Caroline or and people like that that can't speak up and don't get the support they need because we can't allow that to happen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Agreed.
When did you? Because obviously a big part of your journey, if you like, is that. But again, people will look at the fact that you've relapsed a lot of times as a bad thing, whereas I look at it that you keep trying. Do you know what I mean? So when did that start? When did you first go into rehab? And you were saying, did you pay yourself?
After Love Island, straight after 2005, and then again after. The second Love Island, 2006. So there you go. That's why, because it's all too much. But again, I said yes to the second one because I thought I'd be all right and I wouldn't drink, and I tried not to, or I wouldn't do anything, and I was up against it, man, and I was putting myself in the firing line again because of the money. They double the money. They want you because they know you're TV gold.
Yeah.
And people are going to watch you fall apart, and that's fucking awful.
Yeah. And I imagine that people who've got maybe on there with you, and I don't want to sound like this is really cynical, but maybe they'd think to themselves, is their profiles maybe not quite as high as yours coming off the first one. In the second one, maybe they're going to prod you a little bit more just to see what happens, and then they get themselves more support, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely spot on there. I think a lot of people had game plans, or not game plans, but subconsciously knew, if we do something with Paul, it was like with Big Brother when I was on Celebrity Big Brother in 2017. This girl Gemma Lucy, she just started trying to start fights with me all the time because she was an expert in reality TV, and she knew if she tried to push my buttons because she'd seen me on other stuff, she'd get airtime, and she'd be in it more, and she knew that she could get me in those ways, and she ended up looking at an idiot because she just was bullying me, really, and to the point where she pushed me to me reacting. But luckily, the Big Brother voice, when you go in the diary room, he was in recovery. I didn't even know. I never saw it. You couldn't see him, but I only found out he was in recovery when we had the rap party. But he helped me a lot, and he said, "Look, calm. You stay here until you're okay. don't react. And I just did my readings, and I kind of did what I needed to do to stay as calm as possible. Otherwise, we would have had Love Island 3 again or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't drinking there and everyone else was, and they were trying to it's these some of the people that go on these shows, they're very good at it now. And I'm an actor, I'm not a reality person. I do it because for whatever reasons, to do what I need to do to say, if I say yes, it's for a reason.
What reason? What I'm not. This isn't probing. Is it? The money's obviously okay, I'm presuming. But is it?
It's not just the money.
Yeah.
I think it's the profile, and it's kind of like wanting to talk about stuff, wanting to get a message out there, wanting to show that I'm different.
So it's the same as your podcast.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, wanting to kind of show a different side. I mean, get away from that reputation of the Love Island days, and also to show people that first and foremost, I'm an actor, I always have been. I hate fame. I hate the famous word, I hate the word celebrity. But I'll go on to these things to show that I'm just a normal person, and I'm the same as everyone else. And when people see the real me, because it's a chance to be Paul, not playing a character, that you end up getting people to understand you a bit more,
Yeah, I know this sounds really mad. But do you know what? It's only over the last I would say last 5 years that I've suddenly been able to sort of get it into my head that celebrities are just normal people. Do you know what I mean? I think you grow up and celebrities seem like they're in this different world. And it's funny, I'm going to be doing a podcast with Michelle Heaton, and I think me and her used to drink in the same circle of friends, and it's only after we've both come to the same place in our life, so all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, that's just her job, what she's been doing. And like
it's
what you were saying, it's just your job. Do you know what I mean?
She's lovely. She's great, Michelle. And to be honest, she's just good at singing, and you're good at whatever you do.
Nothing.
Talking shite.
But everyone's got a talent, and if they can earn money that way, then what makes them difference to the dustman or the postman?
No, exactly.
It's just that you see what we do, and we don't see what you do. There is no difference, and sometimes it's harder because you're having to display and perform and be this perfect role model or whatever person in front of the public eye. And that's not easy, because we're all human and we all make mistakes. And you talk about relapse, why did I keep relapsing? Because there was a lot of stuff I hadn't dealt with, and I obviously wasn't ready to really concede that, that I was done, and I thought I could still do it. And that the addict plays tricks on you and gets you in terrible places that you kind of suddenly you're in a place that maybe you shouldn't be, like with the people and the night and wherever it is, and you stay a bit too long and you think, oh, only one, but it won't hurt, and the next minute you're back to square one. So it's kind of like people, places and things. Make sure you go to the right places and go and see the right people and do the right things. And if you feel that it's not right, get the fuck out of there.
It's good advice.
I saw the Jeremy Kyle thing where you answered him when he was doing his Jeremy Kyle thing where he tells you off for the fact that you used. Why did you use drugs after you come out? And you just said, well, because I'm an addict.
You fucking bellend.
He's a fucking idiot.
Right, thank you. I'm glad you said it, because I wasn't sure where I could go with that. Yeah, but you know what I mean? You listen to Jeremy Kyle and you're like, what are you going on about?
Who listens to Jeremy? No one listens to him. At the end of the day, this guy makes out he doesn't know about addiction. He's an addict himself. He's a gambling addict. He's a sex addict. And at the end of the day, you go on there and he questions you about the disease that he has. It's ridiculous. Like he doesn't understand it. And I think all he's trying to do is throw you under the bus, to be honest. And I think it's disgusting. And I'm so glad he's not on air anymore.
Yeah, right, there you go. We got that. We're all getting a JK thing out of us. It's funny, when we went down to Talk Radio, Bob Mills couldn't answer me because I was asking him questions on Twitter, just saying, is Jeremy Kyle a knob? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, he works with him and he couldn't answer.
Listen, I bet he's a natural. I bet he's probably a really nice guy, but he has to play a role, and the role is to dig people and poke people and be nasty when he wants to. Then suddenly be nice, and I think for me, that's not cool. Like, be you. If you're going to host a show, just be you and be compassionate and have empathy for people rather than try and dig them out.
Pantomime villain.
He's just a sensationalist, isn't he? You know, like
pantomime villain. Anyway, we'll move on. Jeremy Kyle's never going to do a podcast with us. We cleared that up.
I think he might do to come on and do it.
We'll get back to the multiple relapses and how much you've spent. And like I said, I see it as somebody that just keeps trying. Sorry.
No, we don't need to talk about that.
All right, fair enough. We'll talk about whatever you want.
You're not a Sun reporter, are you?
No.
Let's talk about good stuff, man. Let's talk about what we do to recover, what the solution is.
Well, let's talk about where you're at now then. Doing well. Because I know you're living in Bristol. Is that right? You've moved to Bristol.
So I have an amazing drama program that I basically set up a theatre company for mental health and the arts.
Yeah. Is that the Morning After project? The Morning
After theatre company and the Morning After drama. So I basically know, and it's proven that there is so much evidence in drama therapy, as much as group therapy sometimes, even more so because it's fun. You get to actually act out scenarios and situations that you've probably been in or you might find yourselves in. I take it to schools. I'm going to prisons, young offenders, people on probation, and I'm helping the community and giving them a space to come and explore their creativity, whether they're actors, whether they're good at set design, wardrobe, hair, makeup, creative writing, anything to do with the arts. Because after lockdown, a lot of people were so isolated and addiction went through the roof. And people were just at home, drinking, using, and, the confidence goes and their anxiety goes. And to be able to kind of give them a platform and a place to come and, enjoy themselves, have fun and do some drama and create some theatre and perform it in theatres for people, raise money. We're a charity, and I give my time for free, and it is the most rewarding thing ever. I had these two ladies that came in and they wouldn't say boo to a goose. They were so nervous, so full of anxiety, and just like, I might not take part today. 6 weeks later, they're like French and Saunders. They're the funniest women you'll ever meet. They're so good at acting. They're so natural, and they can't wait to come every Monday. It keeps them going. And they didn't want to leave the house. They were so scared of their own shadow. And that's what it does. It builds confidence, and it helps people with serious mental health and people in recovery to have somewhere else to go, as well as meetings and things like that. And it's connection. And I'm doing it in rehabs, and I'm doing it in Oxford and all over. And it's just taken off. And I think it's an amazing thing as an actor, like a professional actor that suffers with the same thing, and to be able to go there and do that with them. They love it. And it's just like I get more from that than any reality show I've ever done.
That's great.
Want to do it in Newcastle?
Do you know what it is? You won't know this, but Ian and myself, our sort of project, and sort of the thing that we're doing, the podcast thing is just like a sort of nice hobby that we've got going on. But actually, we're taking. Have you ever heard of Lance Haggith?
Of course, I'm friends with Lance.
Yeah, so
I play Hoopside.
Yeah, so we're taking sport. Me and Ian, the project managers, have taken Sports Trader up to Newcastle.
Oh, wow.
And we're tying in with lots of young offenders. All the people that you were just talking about there is literally who we're going to be trying to help through Sports Trader in Newcastle. So we'll probably have a chat if that's all right with you.
Absolutely. And also,
camera.
you know, I'm in with a project called what's the oh god, well, there's a hub in Bristol for people that have come out of prison, and they don't have to go there if they're on probation or whatever it is. They're not, it's not compulsory, but what it is a place for them to go to and be able to do sports, cooking, art, and now they're including my drama. So it gets them into slowly into a career or a job, but it gives them something really creative to do. And you know, they've been inside for whatever reasons. A lot of them are addicts, and they do sport as well. So it'd be really good for you guys to get in touch with them. And they basically, they're the ones that have got me into the prisons and stuff. They're phenomenal company. And Lance, you know, I've been friends with him for a long time. I've done Hoops Aid since the beginning, and I was the captain of the wheelchair basketball at the O2, and we played with. It's such a good cause, and Lance does such good things. So you're really in good hands there. And I'd love to do some drama with you guys, or do some sort of confidence building, or
Sorry, you're gonna go.
Yeah. We had a meeting a few days ago with the Newcastle United Foundation, which went really, really well. Primarily, you know, to speak to them about what we're doing. Obviously, we've got, well, not obviously, but I'll quickly tell you, we've got the shop sorted now for where Lance's shop's going for the Sports Trader charity. As in, it's all with solicitors, so it is going to go ahead. So we went into Newcastle United Foundation because the plan is, obviously you understand the Sports Trader shops take in people from the backgrounds we've been talking about, give them work experience and help them get back into society effectively and into jobs.
Very important.
So we went into Newcastle United Foundation, and they have got a state-of-the-art, amazing facility. Like, I mean, brilliant. They've got a football pitch on the roof and like an indoor one. I mean, 4G pitch. It's wicked, man. They've got like a gaming room, like and lots of open space. And they've basically said to us really kindly. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn here. I maybe shouldn't say it, but basically they've said, we love what you're doing. We love Sports Trader. We've got our own plans as well to open up a multimedia centre, which is going to happen somehow. We don't really know how, but it's happening. And we can use their facility. So if it was a case that could tie in,
we could do filming. We could make a movie.
It leads back to, especially for addiction and just all sorts of people. It leads back to inclusion, isn't it? Just bringing people in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And stopping them from being on the outside looking in. Boom. There it is. There it is.
Oh, we've done it again.
You can say it. I know what word was on your mind.
No, I'm only joking. I think it's so true, and I think what it does is it brings connection with like-minded people, and that is what we need, because the opposite to addiction is connection. You know, and it's phenomenal. Listen, guys, thank you for having me on.
No worries.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on, mate.
Yeah, good luck with everything, and hopefully we can do some stuff in Newcastle. I love Newcastle.
Nice.
We're adopted Geordies. Obviously, you can hear from our accents. We're not from here, but I've lived up here since I was a little kid. My wife's a Geordie. Ian's missus is a Geordie. Do you know what I mean? So,
my best friend lives in Durham.
Right. Okay. That'll do. That's close enough.
I'm godfather to their son, so I need to come and visit him more.
You need to come up and visit. You need to get up here.
I'm serious, Paul. If we can do something with you, let's fucking do it. You know what I mean?
You should talk to me and my business partner about we've got a massive thing going with the morning after drama, and you know we've opened a place for teenagers, 12 to 16-year-olds, to come and be able to do drama, and they've been trapped out of school. They're in naughty school, or they're dealing, or they're sitting in people's flats dealing from there, and we want to get them out of that world and try and, you know, give them something constructive and fun to do, and actually show them scenarios that they can find themselves in that really has bad impact to others, but they can actually act out a different way of dealing with stuff, and the way, like, you know, going down the right road, basically, you know. And I think you got to catch them early.
Yeah. Well, if you get a chance, mate, the shop's opening in a couple of months' time. We'll give you a shout. We'll let you know. Lance is coming up. We've got a boxing
Well, you
event
said it on
so...
my love.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we speak to him regularly when he tells me off.
please, and listen, you ask him about me, and we're good mates. I've loved him for years. He's a great friend.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I met Lance for a friend of mine who's from up here, but he was long-term homeless. And when I say long-term, he'd been living on the streets for the best part of 20 years. He was as a heroin and crack addict as you'll ever see, and Lance literally walked up to him one day while he was sitting on the streets of London at his very worst and said, "Come for a coffee, I want to talk to you."
Yeah, what a guy. What a guy.
My mate just waxes lyrical about him, just saying he's the real deal.
No, he's the real deal. He's very tall. He's a great basketball player. He's a wicked he's a wicked guy. Yeah. But so I just wanted to say, if people want to come and reach out to me, please get hold of me on Instagram at Paul Danan or on Twitter at Paul Danan.
We'll have all your links up and everything once this is up properly. So,
and we have a Just Giving page that really helps me keep the morning after theatre company going, so I can do it for free and allow people from the community to come in and get help through the world of the arts.
Yeah,
send the Just Giving over to us on Twitter and we'll get it. We'll share it all over.
Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you for coming on, because joking aside, mate, we're just a pair of people that you've never met that just reached out to you, and you said yes straight away. And it's like what you say, it's connection, innit? Do you know what I mean? And amongst it all, we're all the same. We've got more in common.
I was always told, if you ever get asked to do a chair or pass your message on, always say yes.
Yeah. Well, look. Brilliant. Thank you very much. I'm going to end this, right? We'll talk afterwards, but because I made these, I'm going to end this with my massively over-dramatic end credits. So before I go, I have to do this because I keep forgetting. Anybody that's watching that's enjoyed the content, please give us a like, please give us a subscribe, give us a share, and help us keep going. Right, from the outside looking in, last time, goodbye.